Hello, this health and safety story is from the West Country, and again it's got my friend Don in it. It's called Pull the Other One. In the Duke of York, the landlord said, "We've too many outsiders settling here. They know little of our country ways of scrumpy dominoes or about our local beer. They should know that yearning for the country life has both its downs and ups. It's not just roses round the door or fields with buttercups. When they move into a village they might find it hard to make a friend, and the responses from the locals can drive them round the bend." One day a colonel named Ludbrook bought a retirement home in a quaint oldie-worldy village with lanes around to roam. He thought the local farmer had devised a nasty scheme to drive him from the village and off the local scene. Now this farmer had a herd of cows that he took to milk each day. This same herd was wont to pass the colonel's cottage on their way, and just as they reached this cottage and began to walk up the ascent, they sniffed the air in unison and released their excrement. This did not seem to be by chance, it happened every time they made their way towards the milking parlour that they were guilty of this crime. "Gad!" yelled Colonel Ludbrook. "I'll deal with this farmer Giles. I've seen him drive 30 cows past here, his face all wreathed in smiles. I am ready for this battle. I shall try the public health, and if they cannot sort this out, I'll do the deed myself." The lads at Shepton Mallet, when they heard this tale of woe, began to chuckle in their meeting, and suggested one of them should go to see this strange occurrence to establish what was true. The chief inspector asked our Don to make this visit, as he'd little else to do. Next day our Don sat sitting in the cottage on a wall. He'd heard about this mystery, but believed it not at all. He saw the cows approaching as they lumbered down the slope, and on past the place that Donald sat with forms and envelope. Past Don they moved, then upwards to their goal, whilst Don observed each cow's behind in his official role. Then as the sludge came tumbling down, his jaw dropped down as well. He'd seen it to believe it, and cried out, "Bloody hell!" No signal from the farmer came, no cause could he discern. He'd seen a wonder of the world, and he had a lot to learn. Don reported to the other lads in office the next day, yet none could explain the reason for the mess that outside the cottage lay. Fred said, "This enigma of the cowpats is the weirdest puzzle we've had yet. We should meet this Colonel Ludbrook and consult the local vet." Don rang the local vet by name of Mr. Howes and retold the slurry story of Farmer Giles's cows. "Ah," said Mr. Howes, "I've done my best to understand. Perhaps you would describe for me the layout of the land," said Don. "The cows go from their field and down a gradient. Then as they pass the cottage, they release their excrement." "I thought so," Mr. Howes chipped in. "It's Newton's law of gravity." "It is," our puzzled Don replied. "This law means naught to me," said Mr. Howes. "When cows are walking, their udders hang in vertical position, even going up or down a slope, the answer to your question. The pressure of an udder as each cow goes up a slope means that the bowels of the herd of cows can no longer cope. The cows release their cowpats on the surface of the road, which land outside the cottage next to the Colonel's new abode." On hearing this, our Donald was keen to find good old Farmer Giles by clambering over walls and fences and sometimes over stiles. He said, The vet has proved your innocence, and maybe there's a cure. As your cows ascend the hill for milking, you are losing valuable manure. There's a small hill in your field. You could keep this bounty for yourself, which will result in no more angry colonels and a plus for public health. And so it came to pass, if you should walk that way, you'll find no more cowpats lying by the cottage by the way. And what of Don, you're asking? The lad who ended all the flack. He had a commendation from the colonel and a pat upon the back.